TIFU by cleaning my windowsill braless.
For context, I'm Irish and we've recently had big historic storm. There wasn't too much damage done to my home, mainly the garden and a few roof tiles off, but on the grand scale, not bad. However, I did leave a kitchen window open on a latch. The window didn't break, but it did leave a mess inside my kitchen around my window inside, the sink and the blind. My ma and Da's house had the power cut. So obviously I'd invited them to stay. They said they'd be at my house in around 2 hours. My ma, God bless her wee soul, is a bit of a clean freak. So naturally, my ADHD self shot straight into hyper-focus. The ADHDers will understand this. Because of the storm, the contents of the wood chip and mud from the garden were inside my kitchen by the windowsill, all over my blinds and sink. So I chose to get right into washing inside the kitchen cupboards and the ice cube trays inside the freezer in true ADHD style. Scrubbed the floor, Armageddon style, where bacteria wouldn't survive. The anxiety really started to kick in, so I took some oil that I'm prescribed. 2 milliliters, 30 milligrams THC. Usually takes an hour or so to kick in. But I'd forgotten to eat, but nah, feck it. So anyway, I take a break and doom scroll and notice the time. Jesus Mary and the wee donkey, half an hour before my parents get here. Better finish cleaning. So I get to the windowsill, so muddy, and some plants that sat on the ledge had been blown over. These plants were all cactus. Particularly a bunny ear cactus plant that I'm particularly fond of. So I moved them off the windowsill on the draining part of the sink and sorted the soil, just as the oil started to hit me. Now this is key, I was in old clothes, hair up, braless. The ladies will know, this is classic deep clean attire. I start wiping the ledge, high as a fucking kite. Now this might sound like a humble brag, but I'm rather well endowed on the knockers front. The chariots were swinging slow. And my sweet bunny ear cactus was being smothered, particularly by my right tit as I was leaning over them to clean the windowsill. The pain didn't even kick in right away. I'd cleaned the windowsill, blind, and even sprayed air freshener. It wasn't till I went to get changed and took my t-shirt off that I felt the burn of 1,000 fucking suns. When I took my top off, I'm not joking when I say it looked like the cast of Honey, I Shrunk the Kids had went to war with my tits using tiny spears. It looked like tiny blonde hairs covered my right tit. It looked like my right tit was going through menopause. It was hot, red, and had tiny hairs all over. The pain really started to kick in. I turned my bathroom upside down looking for tweezers. I found them just as I heard someone walk in my door. My parents had arrived. My face was purple, tears in my eyes. My ma knew something was wrong. My dad was clueless. His first words upon seeing me and the damage from the storm was, "Had more wind up my arse." Charming. I had to fess up to my ma. I told her, "I've hurt my tit, there's cactus pricks all over my tit." She laughed and said, "Excuse me?" So I showed her. The gasp on horror on her face, I swear you'd have thought I'd spat on my granny's grave. She starts inspecting, pulls her phone out to use the torch. Obviously she's old, so it takes her 2 business days to turn on the torch of her 2014 Samsung Galaxy. I stand at the top of my stairs with one tit out. She looks and tells me she has a solution. A microfiber cloth. Something she's seen on TikTok. Suddenly, I got a case of the giggles, in pain but fucking pissing myself at this idea. She gets the cloth, proceeds to rub it over my tit to grab the small pricks out. It worked, excruciating but it worked. But my ma, it doesn't stop there. "We need to now cool your tit down because it looks raging red." You'd think some ice, frozen peas, or even some cooled cabbage leaves. No, not my ma. Holy water, God bless your tit. I'll give her due. She also recommended cabbage later on. The whole time my father is sat on my sofa, watching the news. He walked into my kitchen and shouts upstairs. "What the fuck have you done?" Me, just as the THC reached its peak, runs downstairs with my ma. We go into the kitchen where my D is. He's holding on to my very expensive Roman blind. With white spots all over it, I'd cleaned it with bleach while I was obviously melted on the THC, while I stood there, still braless, with my t-shirt up holding my right tit exposed. Anyway, we had a steak pie and potatoes for dinner. It was grand. My father looked at the steak pie in the eye more than I.